Hey guys, I'm back with part 2 of Kaspersky. On our last video, we installed Kaspersky 2011. We looked at the interface. We kind of did an overview, and we started to look at the settings. And again, as I said in the last video, there are a lot of settings. So you can configure this pretty much any way you want. It's intended for at least your average user, but if you're a novice user, you can obviously download and use Kaspersky. It's perfectly fine with the settings right out of the box, so you can leave it the way it is. But looking at the settings, you have your general settings to enable protection. If you have kids and you want to enable the password, you can do that. Your file antivirus, I showed you in the last video, you can set it for for maximum protection or low protection. So you can kind of go balls to the wall and have this thing set up that it questions everything, or my recommendation is you just leave it at recommended settings, because if you go too high, especially with Kaspersky, it'll just give you a ton of pop-ups and you have to allow everything, and it's a pain. You have your web antivirus. The web antivirus, the way that I set it up, if you go into the advanced settings, is to do a deep scan when you do when you're on the web or when you're doing a scan. Safe surf, you have it checks URLs, and if it's a malicious URL, it'll pop up that it's malicious. So it's a good idea to check that, make sure that this is checked. And what I did was I checked this to block dangerous websites. Not sure why that's not checked out of the box, but you want to make sure that that's checked. If you do online banking, you can enable that to control requests for online banking services and suggest switching to safe run for websites. So if you're going into a banking website, you can enable this to browse that much safer. Okay. If your kids or yourself, if you do a lot of instant messaging, it does protect you there as well. Here's your application control, and under applications, it tells you what is untrusted, what's safe, what's low restricted. Real quick, what I want to say about this is, I really like Kaspersky, but Kaspersky is one of those security software that it'll take over your computer. I mean, it kind of on its own decides what's safe, and it has a built-in heuristics which they're pretty heavy into deciding what's low restricted or high restricted or safe. In other words, sometimes on my own computer I'll install a game, and as soon as I install or download the installer for that game, it automatically assigns categories such as low restricted or blocked or what have you, and all of a sudden the installer doesn't work anymore and you don't know what the hell's going on. So what you need to do is go into System and Applications right here and open up your applications activity. So when you do that, it tells you what's trusted, and if you drop this, you can list or open up all of the processes that are running, and it'll show you what's trusted and what's not and what have you. So what you want to do is come here, not sure what happened there, but you want to come here and scroll down just to see what's running and see if anything is either blocked or low restricted. What you do is you click on it, you right click, you click on Application Rules, or it's easier just to double click on it. And actually, let me do that just so it's easier. You double click on it, and let's see why Why am I drawing a blank here? Well, this is trusted, so it's not gonna it's not gonna be the same. But if it was, let's say, low restricted, yeah, right here, you can change it to trusted. You can change it to high restricted, or block it altogether. You can do some more custom settings for different applications and processes that are running. So, although I love Kaspersky, I think it's one of the best antiviruses out there. You know, it is pretty controlling as far as what what applications it controls, and what it thinks is safe, and what it restricts, and what it blocks. So if you don't mind that, you know, Kaspersky is great. And then you have your online security for your mail, web, antivirus, and what have you. So back to the settings. If you click here, you have your general scan settings, and again, you could do idle scans. You could do rootkit scans. You can set it up that when it scans drives, you could do a full scan, a quick scan. It'll ask you what do you want to do under full scan. You can leave it at recommended settings like I did, but again, when it's scanning, what I like to do is click on additional and do a deep scan or a medium scan. Definitely do a rootkit scan, and I have it checked here for a detailed scan. So I'm not going to go through everything for the sake of time, but here you have your application update settings and your detected threats, and here is where you can add exclusions. So, you know, if you download that game and it's giving you a hard time about that specific game or application, you can come here and you can basically set up exclusions that it doesn't block, or set up low restrictions to things that are actually safe. So that's it as far as what I wanted to show you as far as an overview. But one thing I wanted to show you here, and I hope this works in the virtual machine, the safe run for applications. Now you click on that. If you notice, it kind of brings you to essentially a different desktop. So when it comes up, I'll show you what it looks like. For one, it changes your desktop to kind of like a safe run environment. It gets rid of the error effect and just kind of gives you a bare bones desktop. And then when it comes up, what you're going to notice is, similar to the browser that runs in Safe Run, your whole desktop is going to have a green border. And that green border will show you that the whole desktop is in a virtual environment. So once you shut it down, it will wipe everything out. I'm going to pause real quick and wait for this thing to fully load. I'll be right back. Okay, guys, I'm back. I mean, this is the creme de la creme of Kaspersky right here. I've switched to the safe run for applications. You can run potentially unsafe applications. You can exchange files with operating system through the shared folder. So even in your safe run for applications, even in this virtual environment, you can put stuff in shared folder and have it accessible in your regular desktop. You can switch to main operating system using the pop-up toolbar, which is right here at the top of your desktop. Okay, so here you can click if you don't want to, you know, after a while, obviously you get used to it. You can click here not to show this anymore, and it'll no longer come up. So you can play around in here, do whatever you want, you go into whatever websites you want. Once you're done, if you click on the X here, what will happen is a pop-up will come up, and you can either switch between your regular desktop and your virtualized desktop, but it won't get rid of anything that was on your virtual machine. Here you can shut down, and if you shut down, anything that you've done in this virtual environment will be deleted. So if you shut down, it'll kind of shut this down, and as you can tell, it goes back to your regular desktop. Safe run for websites. You guys that use or have the 2010 version or have used the 2010 version, very similar to last year's. You can go ahead and run a virtualized browser in that green border that you saw when we did the desktop virtualization. And then here you can clear whatever is in either your desktop, your virtualized desktop, or your virtualized browser. And then you have a virtual keyboard, which I use all the time. If I'm shopping online and I'm putting in my credit card information, it's definitely a good idea to use a virtual keyboard. So if anybody's trying to patch in or if they're trying to trace your key logs, they can't do that because you're using the virtual keyboard. So that's basically what I wanted to show you. I basically showed you all of the different screens or components to Kaspersky Internet Security 2011. So what I'm going to do, let's see, what do I want to do? I'm going to close that out. And again, where it's in a virtual machine, this is going to run a little bit slower. But in an actual desktop, like in my desktop, it does run pretty well. Actually, I'm noticing right now that my Kaspersky on my host machine is doing an update, so that's probably why it's slowing everything down. So that's kind of a complete kind of look at Kaspersky Internet Security 2011. I'm probably going to do a part 3 video, and what we'll do with that is throw some malicious links at it, and we'll see how it does. So that's it for now. I will stop here, and I'll do a part 3 right away, and we'll, like I said, we'll throw some malicious links. Now, just real quick on this, because I have a minute or so, on this gadget, if you click this button, you're going to get that reports screen that I showed you before, and that'll show you any viruses or what have you, malware, auto dialers, keyloggers, anything suspicious that it found. And if you click here, this is your shortcut to that safe run for application, that virtualized desktop that I just showed you. This is customizable, so if you click the little wrench, that a screen will pop up, and it will allow you to change these buttons if you want to configure it a little bit different. So the left button, you can change it to whatever you want, and then the right button you can change to whatever you want as well. So it is customizable, which is very cool. And then you can also change the gadget itself to look like either a computer or the round, the globe-looking Kaspersky gadget, which I think looks much nicer. So it is customizable, which I think is awesome. All right, so that's it for this one. I'll come back with the third video, and we'll throw some links at it. So I'll be right back. Thank you for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll talk to you in a few minutes.